we're here at Castello di Amorosa in the vineyard, the estate vineyard. We're going to talk about pruning for a few minutes. Pruning is a very important time of the year. It occurs during the dormant season, usually winter, prior to bud break or prior to the spring growth. So we're in the cool time of the year right now. The vines are all dormant, and by pruning, we're removing last year's growth and leaving growth points for next season's growth. This is a very critical part of the quality control in the vineyard, and it will determine the type of crop, the amount of crop, and the quality in the upcoming season. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the vine. This vine behind me is what we call vertical shoot positioning. All the shoots are oriented in a vertical manner, and when we're pruning, we're trying to target a specific number of buds, and this is called balanced pruning. We're looking for a specific type of vine vigor that will also be balanced by the amount of crop that we leave, the number of clusters that we leave. When you prune a vine, each growth point will produce one shoot. One shoot has a potential for up to 2 clusters, and so you're really determining the amount of crop for the upcoming year. The amount of crop on the vine is going to determine the type of quality that you're going to be attaining. So pruning is the first step in our quality management of the vineyard. Okay, so each vine is unique and an individual. Its growth patterns and growth habits depend upon the soil fertility, the water availability, the type of rootstock, and all of these things have to go into consideration when we're pruning. So as we're going through the vineyard, we're looking alternatively at the last year's growth. Was it a strong vine, a weak vine? And that will determine the number of buds that we're going to leave. For example, if you have a shoot from last year that was pencil thickness or thinner, you probably would cut it back to a single bud. If it was a larger, more dominant shoot, you might leave 2 buds. That will give 2 growth points, 2 shoots in the upcoming season. After the pruning, it's important that we protect the vine because there's fungus and spores in the air. These spores land on the new pruning wounds and can actually enter the wound and impact the overall health of the vine. So what we do is we take a pruning paste, and this is a paste with boric acid, so it's resistant to the fungus and fungal spores and protects the vine for the first couple of days while the wound is healing. Ultimately, this provides a long longevity to the vineyard and gives us a healthier, more viable vineyard over 20 to 25 years. So this particular vine is what we call Unilateral Cordon. It comes up from the ground, hits the fruiting wire, which is the support system for the vine, and then heads one direction. The alternative would be to split the vine there and have a bilateral cordon. This is called the cordon, and this is the spur. The spur positions typically should be at least a hand width, about 5 to 6 inches apart. And what this does is this separates the shoots during the growing season and gives adequate light and air movement around the clusters. So, for example, this is last year's spur, and it was pruned to 2 buds. 2 buds gave us 2 shoots. The next one, you can see the same thing. One of the shoots was a little weaker than the other one. So typically, when we're pruning, we would prune to this shoot rather than the weaker shoot. But you're also looking at the orientation of the shoots. And so this one has a slightly better orientation because you want to keep the spurs lower, closer to the cordon, otherwise they continue building up and up over the years. As you can see, this vine has been trained out over a couple different years. This was the first year, the second year, and the last year. So you can see actually how the vine was trained on the wire at this point. So with this particular vine, we will be spur pruning like that. We're taking and then as you're doing this, of course, you're removing the last year's growth and cleaning up the vine. Now we have an opportunity for an extension on this vine. As you can see, the last bud is quite a bit farther away from the next vine. Based on the overall vigor of the vine, there's a potential to do an extension here. So we probably leave a couple of additional buds on the end here, and then we would be tying this down. This would become our next extension on the plant. What we're doing right now is going to really determine the overall growth habits and the potential crop for the year. We also want to be efficient and quick, and so typically we'll do a complete vine like this in about 45 seconds, sometimes less. And you can imagine doing this over and over every day for weeks on end. They get quite good, and they really get to know the growth habits of the vines and what the determining factors are in terms of the quality.